Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rowland. I'm the Business Development Manager at CompTIA, and as part of my responsibilities, I help manage the academic program, which is called the CompTIA Academy. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you in San Francisco today, but was victimized by a big winter storm that came through Indianapolis, and the airport's been pretty much shut down for the last 2.5 days, and I wasn't able to get out. So I will go ahead and present remote, and hopefully we'll have good luck with technology. So just a quick review. CompTIA is a trade association that is involved with manufacturers and resellers of IT hardware, software, and services. We also are affiliated with over 1,800 academic partners in the U.S. Primarily those are high schools and colleges. Many of you in the room may already be members. If not, we'll tell you how you can join in just a moment. So here's today's agenda for what I'd like to accomplish. I wanted to give you a brief update on the CompTIA Academy. As I mentioned, it is a program for our secondary and post-secondary schools in the U.S. We also have locations in many other countries across the world. Our goal of the Academy is really to help you facilitate the process of earning certification credentials for your students, in addition to the degrees and diplomas that you may offer as part of your regular course of business. Many of you who are in the room may know me from previous sessions, but I spent 17 years in the academic community college world, working as an instructor and an administrator before I joined CompTIA about 11 years ago. If you have interest in joining the Academy, we'd love to have you join. There's no cost, and you can sign up for free at www.comptia.org/academy, and I'll provide some phone numbers and email addresses of our academic team at the end of this presentation. The bulk of our time today, I want to talk about some of our new certifications that have just recently been released. And then towards the end of the session, I want to briefly mention the exams that will be revised in 2014 and tell you how you can prepare for those. And then many of you have already received an email, and if you haven't, you'll probably receive one in the next week or so if you're currently a CompTIA partner, that mentions our January 1st exam price increase. And then lastly, I want to mention our continuing education program and how that is going to impact certification renewal for your students that hold CompTIA certifications, or for those of you in the room who are currently CompTIA certified. So let's quickly start out with a review of the CompTIA product stack. We've got several basic level certifications. The CompTIA Strata actually has a couple of different versions. The one we're mentioning here is really used in the U.S. We've got a couple of other versions that are used outside of the U.S. We've also got several specialty certifications that are for IT professionals in a particular market. For example, healthcare IT technician is something that's appropriate for a person who is working within the highly regulated healthcare industry in the U.S. In fact, it is actually one of our only U.S.-centric certifications that we offer because it does address the regulatory environment within the United States. We also have our most familiar series that we call the CompTIA Professional Certification Series. This is also known as the Plus Series, so the exams that you've known about for a long time, A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, and so on, are within that group. And then we've got a mastery level certification in security. We're going to be talking about that one a little bit later today. But the CompTIA Advanced Security Practitioner, or CASP as it's sometimes called, is one of our mastery level. It is a follow-up to our Security Plus certification. Something else that you can find online, notice there is a URL just below the title on the left side of the slide. This is a certification roadmap that is actually online and interactive. We hand out copies of this all the time at different events that we attend, and if your school is interested in obtaining some of these, we are going to turn this into a poster-sized document that you can hang in your classrooms. I know many of you received some posters from us, if you were a member last, actually I think in November. But this is one of our new 2014 posters that actually shows a pathway or roadmap to various certification specialties, not only showing just CompTIA certifications, but those of many other companies. Probably a little bit difficult to read their names on this particular slide, but this is a great tool to use when especially your counselors are advising students on different job specialties or job roles they may want to get into in the information technology field. I want to start off and talk about one of our newest certifications called Cloud Plus. Cloud Plus was released in October of 2013, so it is brand new. And we developed the Cloud Plus as a follow-up to our Cloud Essentials certification that you saw on one of the previous slides. But as we do with all of our certification exams, we develop these exams at the request of our member community across the world. So we had a sufficient number of members that said, you know, CompTIA needs to put together a certification in the cloud area. So we took that request and expanded upon our Cloud Essentials, which really is not a technical certification, and we developed Cloud Plus, which is. So just some background information on this slide regarding the cloud market. This is from the IDC research website. But as you can see here, there's huge growth, compound annual growth rate 27.6%. So cloud is growing much faster than the worldwide IT market as a whole. And many of you are already using various cloud services, or if you're not, you probably will be quite soon. Some of the other trends that we're seeing with cloud computing, you're going to see a migration from traditional network and systems knowledge and skills to include information and knowledge about cloud network systems. And this won't just be for network administrators, but there's going to be many other job roles that will need to be able to understand how to plan and implement cloud solutions in various networked environments. There's going to be a lot of vendor-specific and vendor-neutral training and certification that will grow in these areas as more and more cloud implementations are made available. What CompTIA is trying to do is to begin that process with our vendor-neutral Cloud Plus and making sure that IT professionals have sufficient background to begin the process of preparing to implement cloud systems. As you all know, if in education, you're working with a lot of businesses, and you know that unfortunately, as I know from my career in education, we don't change as fast as we need to sometimes to address the growing needs of business of the workforce. But this is one of those that if you're not currently involved in things like security and networking and cloud computing, and I'm sure you will be soon, but there's going to be rapid change. So as we've all seen in the technology area, hopefully you're able to implement new courses and new training programs as needed to serve your markets. So the target audience for our particular certification, Cloud Plus, is going to be an IT professional that's working in some type of an environment like a data center, a network operations center, that is utilizing or planning to utilize virtualization technologies and cloud computing technologies. The person may be at any level within an IT support group, from administrator on down, but they're going to need to be aware of many of the changes that will be necessitated by cloud computing. Here's some examples of existing job roles that will need or potentially may need to become certified in some type of cloud computing like Cloud Plus. Systems administrators, network administrators who are running virtual networks, doing bandwidth allocation and so on. Systems administrators are also included here, people who are dealing with storage issues and so forth. Based on some of the research that our team has done in product development, some of the roles that you'll see in advertised jobs include the ones you see on this particular slide. So a sales engineer, a manager of a data center or a storage area network, a business analyst who is involved with cloud computing, someone who's involved with project managing cloud computing implementations, may all be very strong candidates to have a cloud certification. For those of you who are familiar with CompTIA certifications already, this might be a potential path that one may follow to get to the cloud certification. A+, of course, is our computer maintenance and diagnostic certification. Typically, most people have followed a Network Plus or Security Plus path after taking A+ or passing an A+ certification. And as they go beyond that, Cloud Plus may be an ideal certification for them to obtain, along with some vendor-specific training or certification to go along with the particular platforms that they're using. So some of the characteristics that we've identified in our research for a person who is going to be qualified to pass the Cloud Plus exam, someone who understands the terminology and methodologies used in cloud and computing, someone who can implement and maintain cloud infrastructures, understands the various aspects of IT security, and employs best practices related to virtualization and cloud computing technologies. And also, generally speaking, someone who has 24 to 36 months of experience. Now, whenever I say this in front of an academic audience, keep in mind, for those people that you've been having in your classes, work experience and classroom laboratory experience can many times be substituted for one another, because if you're providing sufficient lab experiences for your students, quite often those will simulate many of the pitfalls that a network administrator would encounter periodically, and kind of makes up for the 24 to 36 months. So keep in mind that some of this requirement, I'm sorry, not a requirement, but recommendation can be utilized by lab experiences at your college classes. Here's some information about the Cloud Plus exam. It is CV0001 is our product number when you're taking this at a VIEW testing center. It is 100 questions, and you have 90 minutes to take the exam. Now, like all of our other exams, there's an additional 30 minutes tacked on to that 90 minutes to allow you to review the candidate agreement, which basically says you won't disclose questions after you leave the test center. The passing score is 750 on a 100 to 900 scale. It's currently available in English, and the member price is $222. There's actually a slightly lower price available for our academic partners. More information about this particular test and all of our tests are found on our certification.comptia.org website. So when you go to that particular site, on the top left corner, there's a box you can click to drop down a list of all of our certifications, and you'll get a nice summary page that gives you practice questions and information like you see on this slide about any of our exams. This is how the test is configured in terms of the objectives. the highest weighting is given to cloud infrastructure, followed by virtualization. You can see that security and systems management and cloud concepts are also right up there in terms of the percentage of content on the examination. Again, on that certification.comptia.org website, listings for all of our exam objectives are there, so you can download the objectives and review those. One other thing I wanted to mention, I don't have the slide for this, but currently we no longer release certification exams until there is one or more available textbooks or other learning materials out. But the publisher that many of you are familiar with, McGraw-Hill, have been first to market with a cloud computing book. So if you are interested in preparing for this certification, contact your McGraw-Hill rep to get an exam copy of their book. I've included this slide only because a little bit later in today's session we're going to talk about continuing education units, and I wanted you to know that as you take some of our more advanced level certifications, some of those can be credited towards your requirements for continuing education for lower level certifications. So if you were A+ certified and you passed the Cloud Plus, you could use that as credit towards the renewal through continuing education of your A+ exam. As you see, as you get into different level certifications, the percentage of those change. I want to move on and talk about mobility next, and how mobility is affecting the business world and the workforce in the U.S. and around the world. But currently, CompTIA does a lot of research into skills gap. We have a research department, and if you're a CompTIA member of any over a year, you know that during your annual membership term you receive information to participate, or invitations to participate in various surveys that we offer, and we'll select people from the academic community, the government, the business communities, not only in the U.S. but around the world, and do surveys about the needs of the IT market and also the various concerns that managers have about skills gaps that may exist. So you can see that over around over 40%, 44 to be exact, reported gaps in mobile security skills of their existing employees. So as you see the bar graph on the right, there's 5% have been reported to be significantly deficient in security expertise in this particular area. Now, some of the things that will affect business as they work with mobile devices will, of course, one of the most prevalent is devices that become lost or potentially stolen that have secure information or company information. So you see almost 40% of companies have reported incidents that had involved a lost or a stolen device. This particular survey has been repeated several different times. I think you also see that in 2011 there were 56% of companies reported some type of device that were stolen. There's also people like you or like me potentially that have been unaware and potentially violated some type of corporate data management policy on your mobile device by not having a password lock, those kinds of things. We're all aware of mobile phishing attacks, mobile device malware, which if you're using Apple devices like iPhones and iPads, it's kind of a commonly held myth that they're not susceptible to viruses or malware. If you have one and you haven't experienced one yet, I'm sure you soon will. And then there's also clever employees like IT instructors that figure out ways to disable security features on their device, which may be in violation of company policy. So these are things that have been reported as being concerns by businesses. So the goal that many companies have is really trying to balance a security risk with preferences of end users to use devices. I know as part of my responsibilities at CompTIA, I travel around when it's not severe winter weather and go to a lot of conferences, and for many years it was lugging a 17-inch laptop, dropped down to a 15-inch, and then just about a month ago that was replaced by a very light Ultrabook computer, which is a lot easier to carry in that backpack. But there have been times when I've preferred to use my tablet device for presentations, especially in small groups. So we want to make sure that those devices are secure. So some of the advantages, of course, of using those devices, and one of the reasons I prefer my tablet sometimes, is my ability to use cellular to stay connected. Of course, many of us are way too connected with our phones and have the ability to be reached anytime, but that also leads, in many cases, to some higher productivity. A lot of you that I've known for some time will occasionally make fun of me for when you see I respond to an email at 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning. But if I'm sitting there and I've got my phone handy and you send me a simple question, quite often I'll reply just so the response is out to you as soon as possible. But with the higher connectivity, of course, there's a greater potential for devices to be compromised. Now, InfoWorld, for those of you that read that, has indicated that mobile technology experts is currently hot job number 4 in the world, and there's a lot of companies who have simply addressed this issue by banning mobile devices, but there's a lot of companies who clearly are listening to the needs of their employees and actually trying to manage costs by embracing mobile devices, which are a little bit lower in cost and in some cases more flexible in the way that we can use them. So we launched Mobility Plus on November 1st, 2013, so it's been out just a couple of months. Many of you may have been invited to take the beta exam. I know several of the post-secondary instructors that I know quite well have taken the beta, and most of them have passed it. So I've gotten feedback that it's a good, strong exam with quality questions. But the exam is available if you're at the conference and you're interested in taking this exam and you're a CompTIA partner. Give me a call. We can arrange for you to try the exam out. If you're not currently a partner, sign up and give me a call and we can talk about it after that point. But this is a little bit of information, a quick product description. Someone who is going to be successful in passing this exam will be someone who has knowledge and skills related to different mobile devices and over-the-air technologies, someone who can integrate, support, manage within a mobile environment. I'll let you read through the rest of that. And again, the target audiences based upon our product development team, mobility engineer, mobility architect, help desk people can also be used. Email administrators who may need to work on having email available through mobile platforms. Network and security administrators are all target audiences for you to offer classes to and for them to become certified, obviously. Some of the pathways that we've identified, typically someone who would be involved in mobility would have already taken A+ and Network Plus at a minimum from our certification pathway. And that's actually, we're in the certification roadmap that we showed you earlier is actually under revision right now to include our 3 new certifications, including mobility. Some of the details on this particular exam. It's going to have a 3-year lifespan like A+, Security Plus, and Network Plus. It will also have 100 questions with a 720 out of a 900 passing, out of a 900 scales for passing. We're recommending, again, 18 months of some type of mobility experience, whether that's in a work environment or a laboratory environment. And this will be part of our Tier 2 pricing. Again, the academic price on that is going to be significantly less. So you can call us for details or wait until you get your email next week with the new price list. Again, Mobility Plus will be used in the continuing education program as one of the ways that you can keep other certifications renewed. And so if you're looking to update A+, Network Plus, Mobility may be a good one for you to consider. Details on the weighting and so on will be found on the continuing education page that I'm going to mention towards the end of this session. The objectives, again, heavily weighted towards device management, troubleshooting, and security, as you might imagine. There's also discussions of using these devices within a network infrastructure and also the over-the-air technologies and how they work and security implications of using those types of Wi-Fi and cellular technologies. Now, the last exam I want to talk about is our Secure Mobile App exam that was also released on November 1st. And this is some information we got from both a Cisco report that they did and also one from IDC, but just information about 1.4 mobile devices per capita. Your mileage on that may vary. If you've got a lot of highly connected people in your household, you may have several mobile devices per person. But by 2016, there's going to be 10 billion mobile connected devices, which will actually exceed the population of the world. Now, my guess is with the emerging markets in China and other places, that 10 billion may be a low number by the time we actually get 2 more years into 2016. But for the companies that sell products, services, and hardware, $35 billion in revenues. So part of that is going to be training dollars that, for people that need to have skills to manage devices in a corporate environment. So right up the alley of many of you who are teaching these kinds of classes are about to. Here's some other just general statistics. So I think some of these numbers are actually several months old. I would think that the iPad and iPhone have far more than 700,000 apps right now. But everything from games like Angry Birds to, I have one that helps manage my Cisco network on my phones and my iPad. So, but app writers, there's new application developers being spawned every day. There's high school students that are developing apps. There's experienced programmers and engineers that are developing apps, and just a huge market that needs to be addressed by education in a pretty critical way. So some of the things that's interesting about mobile application developers is the relatively short amount of time or education or training that they need to actually secure a position, because like we saw with networking several years ago, the shortage of developers are causing companies to do more on-the-job training. You can see the statistic there from CBS Money Watch. It's voted one of the top 6-figure jobs in the U.S. right now. Almost 300,000 new jobs are predicted in this area over the next 10 years, with a salary right around the $100,000 mark. So, some of the problems with growth in this market really deal with security. There's a disconnect between developers and users, and depending on what platform you're developing for, some apps are more secure than others, and just a lot of issues there that have actually kept this market from growing as fast as it probably has the potential to do. So we launched our mobile app security exam actually came out on November 1, not October 15th. But we've got 2 versions of this, and it's going to be for someone who is sufficiently skilled to create iOS or Android mobile applications while also ensuring that there's secure network communications involved in the use of that application. So we have again, several different job title recommendations for people who have, 18 to 24 months worth of experience, application developers, network security developers, mobile app developers, and so on. Here's some just general information about the exam, and I'm going to go into some specifics on the 2 different versions. But we have an iOS and an Android version. There's the exam numbers, very similar, but different prefix. Both exams are 100 questions with 90 minutes to take the exam and 30 minutes to review the candidate agreement prior to. Passing score on a 1 to 900 scale is 730. And this is a little bit higher price. This is a Tier 3 exam, which would be comparable to a Security Plus exam. So for the academic program, you'll see this a little bit less money than what you see here on the retail cost. There's 2 exams, as you note here, but only 1 exam is required to be certified. So if you decide to take the iOS version, you'll be Secure or Mobile App Security Plus iOS, and then if you decided to take the Android version, you would have a second certification in Mobile App Security Plus Android. So here's a breakdown of the different domains and the percentage that you see of each of those. Again, the objectives for these new exams are always found at certification.comptia.org, and you can download those and review them at your leisure, but this is just a broad breakdown. And here is the iOS version. So again, as I mentioned before, we don't launch our exams without having somebody that has developed courseware. Logical Operations, based in Rochester, New York, has been the first to deliver courseware. They have both an e-book and some e-learning courses available, as well as about a 25-hour instructor-led course for each version. So if you're doing Android, it's about a 25-hour course. Now that's excluding a lot of lab time. If you want to build in more lab time, you're going to build up that course. But again, a second 25 hours for iOS. Here's just a quick summary that we got from the publisher that you can see their exam or their book copy covers. So if you're interested, you can contact Logical Operations directly or get in touch with me, and we can put you in touch with someone in Rochester that can talk to you about the book in more detail. Some of you may have attended one of our product launch webinars where we actually had the authors of the book come on to our webinar and discuss the content. Yeah, that concludes our discussion of our 3 brand new certifications. But I also wanted to mention the revisions that we're going to see in 2014. So for many of our certifications, we have had them go through the process of becoming ISO certified, and as part of that certification of the exam, we have to have those exams updated and revised so that they are current and relevant no longer than every 36 months. So we have done that now a couple different times on A+, and we are now coming up to the revision dates on security and network. Many of you know, you may have been invited to participate in the security subject matter expert that happened late last year. We are now anticipating a launch of the new Security Plus exam. The 401 exam will come out sometime in Q2, so that could happen anytime between April through June would be the launch. Network Plus is currently, it was originally released in December of 2011. We anticipate a late Q4 launch for the new revised Network Plus exam as well. We've also just begun the process of updating for the first time in 3 years actually the first update, because the exam has only been out 3 years, with our CompTIA Advanced Security Practitioner. So you'll see a new exam come out in the fourth quarter, and then the same thing for our beginning level certification strata. We have a tentative Q4 or possibly early Q1 2015 launch for those particular exams. If you have questions about those, you can again contact me directly, but just one thing I will remind you of, there's always a little concerns that are there's a little concern raised, especially in the academic community, about transitions like this. Keep in mind that we've always built in sufficient time to get through a traditional academic year. So, for example, with Network Plus, the new version will be out probably in December of this year, but the existing version will remain alive for at least 6 months, so that courses that you're currently teaching will be able to complete those under the existing version. Security Plus, if it comes out in Q2, part of the reason that date is, we always just list it by a 3-month quarter, is where we want to make sure that we release it when there's courseware available. So most of our Security Plus book publishers are already at work developing books. I actually spoke to one of those authors right before Christmas, and they expect to have the book out sometime in the March-April timeframe. So again, we never want to compromise your classes by having a test expire before you've been able to finish the class, but we adhere pretty much to the U.S. academic year and make sure that we extend exam deadlines like we did A+. Last year we extended it through August 31 so that you had time to complete your classes. And again, any specific questions about that, you can contact me directly. Some of the price changes that I wanted to mention: we did have a January 1st exam price change. Almost all of our exams prices changed except the ones that just came out in November. Approximately 3% increase to help cover costs of exam development and publishing. A+, for example, went up from $84 per exam to $86. So for an academic partner to get a student certified, it's now $172. So still a great bargain compared to what a non-member would pay for just a single exam. Network Plus went to $133. Security Plus went up $5 to $185, and Strata was increased $64. As I mentioned, we will have a email that's going out to all of our academic partners, I think on Thursday or Friday of this week, that will give you a table that will show the prices of all 18 of our exams. But these are the most popular ones that are currently used in the academic community. One of the last things I want to mention is regarding certification. So we have a continuing education program that we launched about 3.5 years ago, and the purpose was to make sure that the skills and the credentials of our certified individuals were up to speed and current and relevant. So especially with the ISO requirement that we revise exams, we wanted to give people a chance to update their skills in a means other than retaking the exam. Now, why this is important to you and your students is 2014 will be the first year that certifications earned under the 3-year expiration period will begin to expire. So when we launched A+ and Network Plus several years ago, those were under the new 3-year expiration. Those certifications will begin to expire and either have to be renewed through continuing education, or they'll have to take the exam if they want to keep the designation. So the best place for information on specifics about this is our website, www.comptia.org/CE. There's all kinds of details there about how you can earn the appropriate credits to keep different exams current. All right, that is, I want to wrap up, and I'm going to have to ask one of our other moderators if there's a mechanism to do questions, but I'm going to leave this slide up for a moment. This is the academic team in the United States with our phone numbers and our email addresses. We do like to let you know that if you ever have questions about not only CompTIA exams, the academic program, or testing through the VIEW testing organization, please contact us directly. We do answer our own phones, and we don't want you to get caught in our customer service queue, so just call us directly or email us, and we'll try to address your concerns or questions as quickly as we can. In particular with VIEW questions, both Brian Matsell and I are both certified VIEW proctors, and we do VIEW testing at several events every year, so we can assist you with questions about the process of setting up a test center or ordering from VIEW. So again, we appreciate your time today, and I'll be happy to take any questions if we have a mechanism to do so. So if one of our other moderators could maybe come on, if there's a way to do that. I'm not sure, since I wasn't able to be present today. Okay, I'm not sure if Michelle's available to jump on and answer. Okay, I'm going to try to address some of the questions that are coming through the chat. How do I learn if my institution is already a member of the CompTIA Academy? My email address, just shoot a message to me via email, and I can respond. Oh, okay, I see that there's not a microphone available. Thanks, Michelle. The other question that came up was, is there a voice over IP certification that we have? At this time, there is not. We don't have a specific, I'm going to try to answer some of these questions real quick. We don't have a specific retirement date for Security Plus yet. We never establish a retirement date until the new exam actually has a launch date. So once the launch date is determined, that's when we will determine when the retirement date is. But with a launch in Q2, it'll probably be sometime by the end of the year, if not maybe Q1 of next year. Okay, I've also been told to mention that the recording of this webinar will be available on the MPICT website, so we appreciate that, and please feel free to download that and look at it later. Another question is, if my institution is a member, are there any vouchers for CompTIA exams for computer science department faculty? One of the benefits of being one of the Academy partners is that once you begin ordering student vouchers, $500 or more worth of student vouchers a year, then your faculty members who are teaching CompTIA related courses can get complimentary exams for that same year. So if you have questions about that specifically, let me know. Many of you have already achieved that level of exam purchases, but it's really 4 Network Plus exams or 8 A+ exams will get you over that $500 threshold. And then another question, the current A+ was released October 2012, so it's coming up on just a little over a year. It will retire and be replaced by a new exam in 2015. So for A+, you've got plenty of time. I'm going to put my email address up there. I don't know if it's displaying or not. Any inclusion of Windows 8 on A+, that's the question that's coming through the chat, will be on the next version. We no longer, we have a policy of not revising content that significantly on an existing exam. So any content on Windows 8 would not show up on 8+ until the 2015 release. And I can't comment on whether XP would be dropped because as many of you may not know, CompTIA doesn't have a department of people that sit around and design exams. We bring in subject matter experts, educators, government, military, business people to actually sit in and develop our questions for us because we want a true representation of what the industry needs and wants. So our questions are written by subject matter experts, and then CompTIA staff actually collates those into an exam and puts it through the exam publishing process. So I can't really comment on when XP will be dropped. That'll be at the recommendation of those experts. I think I'm down to about the allocated time, so I'm going to go on mute. Thank you, everyone that